Up, I said I'm a really big sci-fi fan. Um, I'm behind the times somewhat. I need to catch up on Star Trek. I got the first season of the Next Generation. Uh, I I don't want to jump ahead with the stuff. So Benjamin Dixon was on Waldorf Nation. I'm beginning to really like those two. I'm moving on from Michael Brooks. Um, Michael Brooks had a conceptual prowess, and he was on the edge of the socialist left. He will always, in my mind, if I ever have kids, I'll tell them, he was on the edge. He was putting forward. Like, there's certain people who are fashionable, and there's certain people who make the fashion, break the mold. They could bring a damn garbage bag in the mall, and it become fashion. That's what Michael Brooks was. He didn't care. And really nice guy, funny and so Wall Up Nation, all those guys, they're good. They don't have that. Even Hassan Abi, they don't have that. It's a different kind of entertainment. Benjamin Dixon, he's like some people I know. These people, friends I have, are very similar to him. You know. So they were talking about, evidently AOC got into a discussion with the this episode on Voyager. There was two characters that got spliced together, and there was a moral discussion about should one of them die or not, and AOC waded into it. I haven't seen it. To me, we on the left, we're moral people. We're deeply moral people, and we just want a better society for all. Those shows were ahead of the time. It's like Outer Limits and all that. Outer Limits was more about like the dangers of genetic research and the danger of pandemics and the danger of military stuff. It was more of that kind of stuff. But we're moral people. We want a better society for all. We're going to have problems. We're going to reach impasse when we disagree. That's fine. There's a famous philosopher that talked about how when one of basically talked about how he viewed society off of how we treat the least of these. I like to believe as a progressive, I haven't read Marx, I haven't gotten into that, but as a progressive, I like to believe that's one of my core merits of making life better for the least of these. They went into talking about, I guess, an episode where they had a gravely injured person, they raised a clone to harvest the clone for the human being. This is where my progressivism kind of ends. I'm a human being. My life has value. My life has more value than a clone. My life has more value than a robot. I will never confuse that. I will take a bum off the street who I don't even know's life over a machine. Period. I'm not, and I look, one of my favorite movies is Bicentennial Man. Hell of a movie. AI, it's interesting to have discussions. And as a progressive, I don't look at I don't, as a progressive, the fact that I don't have the answer to everything is not a bad thing. It means I'm human, and it means that I'm on the right track. It means I have a soul. Hesitating when it comes to human life, it's not a bad thing. That's having a soul. That's being a human. Um, there's a lot of stuff in Star Trek. There's an episode. Well, there's a lot of stuff in Star Trek that basically hinges upon uh, decisions and sacrifice and what sacrifice means and about really making a greater society, a better society off of sacrifice of a few. And I think that Starfleet and the whole Star Trek saga was about the best of the future. You've got bad Republicans. You've got a lot of bad leftists out here, which I don't really consider some people out here to be leftists. They're just people that just are along for the ride, And I don't really not really liberals. I think to be a leftist, you take stuff seriously. And talking about how the election is not beautiful and all, that's not leftist stuff. I'm on the left. I'm in the fight. I'm in the struggle. I'm not interested in dumbing down discourse. I'm not interested in dumbing down. I'm not interested in that. You shouldn't be either. This, burnt plastic culture and look, like I said, I just think that Star Trek was ahead of its time. It's a lot of sci-fi was ahead of its time. Watching Star Trek for me, there's a beauty in it. Even when they fail at things, there's a beauty in there's a victory in the doing, and there's just they're trying to discover the better aspects of themselves. They're trying to be the best people they can be, if that makes sense. That's just my interpretation of watching the show. And they're trying to be the best they can be. And I think to be a progressive, Star Trek is kind of like what we want, what we wish society could be. Does that make sense? That to me is what I get from watching that show. A world beyond war. A world where we move beyond war and destruction and chaos and just this hellish reality that we're living in. A world where we're conscious of one another, and a world where we all want a better world. I mean, I don't want to get into the Trump stuff again, but just the climate change stuff, is an example of this, that you have people who just don't care about climate change, who just don't care about reality, who just don't care about others. I don't know. I just I've always thought that's a hell of a show, and it's very special to me. Thank you for listening.